Hello and welcome to Not a Tutorial. This time I'm just going to talk about car design in general. Or better said, um, design and automation. Because whenever someone asks, how should I start? Or this is my first car, what should I do? What should I do better? I'm always at a loss because I don't know where to start. I don't know, I felt like I don't have advice, but I think I do have advice now. Because I thought about it. I thought about it a lot, and because I have friends who don't take this seriously as much as I do, and they piss me off with their cars sometimes because I'm an asshole. But what I think, if you just bought the game and you just started, I think what you need to begin, the first thing you need to do is practice. How do you practice? Don't think about design. Like, really, don't think about it. You don't need to. You just need to make a replica. That's right. Just take a car, choose a car, like I did with the Citroën DS, and just replicate it. Go find a website, especially if it's a classic car, find a website that has the car of your liking for sale, because those classic car brokers, they always make tons of pictures and they go really deep. They go really deep with the camera, like hundreds of pictures just to sell one car, right? And that's great. That's very helpful. That way you can just replicate the car. Now here comes the twist. This is a licensed continuation of the Citroën DS by Brinkwood. And all you need to do, all I really changed was the grille, and the turn signals are not original either, and the taillights. The rest is just 100% replicated. Let's ignore the interior. That's another thing. Don't worry about the interiors. Just forget it. Forget it. You just bought the game. Just pick a car that you really like, for which there is a body. Get a bunch of mods, and yeah, that's another thing. Mods really help. It's nice to challenge yourself with a no mod build, but yeah, but once you get a good feeling about how this game works, you will feel limited. I have to admit that I am addicted to mods. But yeah, because the thing is, why you do that is because you then just focus on little things, like, again, like the grill. How would the grill look on your car? How would you incorporate things? Because you will encounter tons of problems when playing this game, and you need to solve those problems, and you need to be detailed about it, because details really do it. Like going really macro, going really micro makes the macro work. Like if you go further away, this little thing, that little screw that is there for the fender, and you see it even though you're far away, but you wouldn't take a picture like this, wouldn't you? Right? You see that there is some writing on the trunk. It's there. You see that it's there. You can't read it, but you see that it's there. If that were missing, the car would look less detailed. That's why we do this, why we go into those insane details. It helps make the car overall look great. Look, you can see the windshield washers, right? You can see that look at this. Look at this. This is from a oh yeah, never use parts for what they are used for. Like, try to use to use parts for completely different tasks. This is a license plate light that I just 3D fixtured there. Like, it was fiddly, but If you go far away, you can see that the mirror is mounted to something. It's screwed in there. If it were just the mirror, because it's the actual thing is actually deep in there. You see that? If it were just a stick, it would look stupid, you know? Yeah, that's the main thing. You need to develop your own technique. You need to develop your own look, because if you are worried, like figure out your own grill. That's the first task. Figure out the grill that you will use over and over and over and over and over and over again on every build you do. I am not making any other grill than this. The only thing that changes is the technique how I apply it, because this is a bumper piece, you know. This is 3D fixtured, but the car has a curve, so I made like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 next to each other, just turned ever so slightly, and this part always sticks out. That's the grill that I always do, and I do it over and over and over again. In fact, I use the same bits and pieces. Like, see, same grill, looks completely different because the car looks different. Headlights, always the same on my cars. This is the exception because it's a DS, you can't work on it. That's another thing. If you have those hellbent rules, you will do something differently anyways, because if you do a different car, it will have to work differently. I always try to use these turn signals. I always try to use the headlight, but the headlights almost always are applied. And I try to reuse those turn signals as, like, this is the same size as a turn signal. I just move it to the back, because that in my head, this is just manufactured by the, it's the same manufacturing process. Therefore, you don't need to, you have a parts bin that you can just, it's a modular piece you would reuse on everywhere on the car, just so that you don't have to make like 5 different light types, you know. And again, a good example again. Sure, you think that's not relevant when you go far away, but look how it's still there. It's still there. Here, look at this. This is just one thing that it would just stick out otherwise. But if you go, like, you know, and you might think, okay, but I don't want my cars to look boring. I want my cars to look different when I make a different car. But it will look different just by by the shape of the car itself, right? You don't believe me? Same grille, same headlights. And okay, this is a different turn signal, but it's the same shape as the headlight. But that doesn't matter, you know. Again, I couldn't really make it work, so I used something different. The grille, again, the same as on this car and on this car. Headlights, the same as on this car, right? But it's a completely different looking car. You have the same, this is also the same. Just like here. The same, but this has a little bit of chrome in the middle. This doesn't. And I used a different technique to make this one. This is made with the, you know, but I always have a go-to thing to make the hood look good, right? I will always have something there. I will always have a manufactured headlight because I need to 3D it, because I don't want it to be flush, because it would look stupid if it were flush, right? You might think, okay, yeah, but how does that work with the taillights? That, well, it's a completely different tailgate. It's a completely different tailgate. It's a different taillight, but it's the same logic that I applied here, because I used this turn signal. I just reused that, and I just used that so that I can focus on designing this. That's the thing. You need to kind of cut up the tasks. You have several tasks, several things, many things to figure out. So be lazy. That's just it. I will never think about what headlight to use. I already know. It's this one. That's the headlight that I'm using. What grill am I going to make? I'm going to make this grill. But how the fuck am I going to apply it to this front end? Right? I'm gonna have to do something different than here. You can't tell me that those cars look the same. They don't. But it's the same logic. And that's what I would say you should do. You like forget this. This is just an example why it works, my technique, right? Just do this first. Pick a car, whatever car you want, and figure out which pieces you want to use on every car ever. Because once you are advanced so that you can think about interiors, you will have learned what parts there are, because you cannot use the headlights for the mirrors. You're going to have to find a favorite mirror, and you're going to have to figure out how to apply that mirror, and you'll have these little problems like this. That was a little problem for me, because the mirror stick was too long, so I had nothing to apply it, right? I use the same mirror here, right? And I could use that little stump thing, because that car is bigger. It didn't look stupid. But on this car it looked stupid, so I had a problem. And so I looked around in what I could use to make this look manufactured, and this looked best. And there you go. That's what you do. You solve problems. You just solve problems. So it's best if you have already solutions. What headlight am I going to use? This one, basta. There's no discussion. What grill am I going to? It's the bumper. There you go. That way I just have to focus about have to just figure out how to apply the opening, which had to be different than on this, because the car has a different shape. That's just it. There's nothing more to it except time and patience and building one car after another with the same bits and pieces over and over again for 4 years. And then you can finally, after having... That's another thing. I didn't want to make interiors at first. When that started to happen, I thought, oh, that's so much work. So I didn't, right? But then I just kind of wanted to, because I have this one model that I'm doing all over again, the Armada. This is the different generation than this, but I always make like a, I wanted one with an interior for once. And now that's all I do. I just make only cars with interiors. And now after 4 years, I finally, for the first time, made an undercarriage. Like I made an in-between thing right here, as you can see. Just like black plastic, I just placed something there. Just something. Because of the car flips, it looks stupid if it's like if it has nothing there, right? Again, something. I tried to be a little bit clever here by having this, but ultimately I didn't do this. Oh yeah, there's that glitch where the engine and the drivetrain and the exhaust isn't showing, but it's all there, it's fitting, it works, and it's great, etc., etc. But it took me 4 years to get there, and this is the first guy I did this with, and I think I will never go back, because I thought I will never go back from this as well. And the interiors, I thought I'll never go back. So don't worry. Once you are at the point where this is not a problem for you anymore, you will move on to a different problem. So just start, if you are starting, with this. Just do this. Pick a car, just copy it completely, make it, and just, what's your grill? That's it. What's your headlight? That's it. I think that's about it.